fans are out there. As it looks like JoJo, out of all of that confusion, we apologize for all that confusion. There was a little bit of an issue with one of our lead broadcasters losing power. JoJo out to the lead. And we might have caught it right when pit stops are starting because everybody just dived to the bottom.
Yeah, so sorry about that, everybody. We had some technical difficulties. One of our broadcasters tonight unfortunately lost power, and he was the one who was leading the broadcast. You see the majority of the fielders coming here to pit road. Just about everybody coming to pit road at one time. That's got to be a first for me.
I just saw everybody except for the 18, and the 14's still out there. He plays strategy all the time, and he's staying out there an extra lap.
Yeah, the 14 looks like, according to his stream, that he is on 0 right now, coming to the backstretch. Yep, he's starting to sput, entering turn 3, so one lap may do him some good as far as fresh tires go. I'm not 100% sure, but he did sput all the way through 3 and 4. Since we have a stream going again, unfortunately, since Fluffy's power went out, we may have missed picks. I picked Captain Jack. I think you had picked either Heredia or Joker.
Correct.
Joker has had some issues. It looks like Captain Jack is back with Joker, so he may have had some issues too. We were fumbling around trying to pick the stream back up. That way we had some sort of broadcast for you guys to view here tonight and to view at your pleasure later on. Maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday before you guys tune in for the Truck Series race, which is an elimination race from Bristol. So hopefully you guys tune into that on Wednesday as well. Back with this race here, we see, I think, is that the 2 car that is leading the field? I believe that is. So JoJo out front of Brody, out front of Drunkfest, who was just eliminated in the last round, and then rounding out the top 4 is Heredia, and I think Captain Jack has pulled up into 5th.
That'd be correct. Captain Jack holding strong in 5th here, but going back to JoJo, man, he's really impressing me here. I didn't know he was so strong at Las Vegas, but he's actually starting to gap second on back just a little bit.
Yeah, Vegas is one of those tracks, though. Obviously, you get lucky or you don't. The playoff of the big casinos that they got. This is the South Point 400. So JoJo looks like he's holding a couple pocket aces right now.
Right there, the 42 and 41, Drunkfest and Brody really closing into his bumper, using each other a little bit for some draft. It seems like 2-car tandems, like we said in the Xfinity series, if you were watching that, 2-car tandems do work here.
Yeah, and Brody, who is a playoff driver, takes the lead here. That's going to help him on points, and Drunkfest follows him through to second.
Brody, after coming off of kind of a heartbreak finish at Bristol, he was so close to winning that one. Didn't give the bumper to Heredia God, but I mean, here he is leading again.
Absolutely. He could have given the bumper to Heredia based off the point situation after the race. Heredia started this round of 3, 47 to the good above the cut line, and Brody did not have as much of a cushion. Brody's cushion was within single digits. His point or his advantage was 1 point over Captain Jack. So Brody really could have used those 5 bonus points for winning that race to propel him into a better position, which would have put Riley at the cut line. So Brody needs a good run here at Vegas, and right now he's showing that he's got the car to do so.
Yeah, and we heard at the tail end, of that Bristol race and the post-race interviews that Brody was not going to move Heredia God. They've been in the same situation. He said he was going to race him as cleanly as possible, and that's exactly what happened. So even though it was a little bit of a points kind of sacrifice there from Brody, he definitely wants to acknowledge that Heredia is one of his competitors, and he doesn't want to make an enemy out of Heredia.
Absolutely. And the race that really made that decision easy for Brody was back at Darlington, which was another fuel mileage race. Brody ended up winning that race, and Heredia could have really thrown it into turn 3. I was on the call for that one, and Heredia gave him a lot of room, raced him clean, raced him like a gentleman. So Brody was going to race Heredia there hard, but didn't overdrive it and get him, pushed up and out of the groove to take that one.
Yeah, now if this situation happens at Chicagoland, per se, if these guys hypothetically both make it in, I do not think you'll be seeing the same kind of gentlemanly behavior, seeing that it's for a HPL title right there in the Cup Series. I think you'll see a little more of a bump and run, but seeing that it was just Bristol, both guys were essentially locked into the next round. Just pay off the favor, and that's exactly what Brody did.
Oh, absolutely. Anything goes. The gloves come off when it comes down to the championship race. So, what you see in these next 3, Vegas Auto Club and Phoenix, you're not going to see in Chicago. You're going to see a little bit more in Chicago. And, everybody that makes it to Chicago has had a great year, obviously. So, you've got 6 drivers right now, all of which have had wins in this season. Some have had more than others. But you all start Chicagoland dead even. So one thing that you want to really pay attention to here in the round of 6 is how clean can you run, how good can you run, and if you don't have any run-ins with another driver, will that help you out come Chicago in crunch time? Obviously, guys like Joker will block you. We've seen that before. But, Heredia, Riley, Brody, Captain Jack, and Nobes, what do they got to do to really send a message? I think that this round is a good way to get that through.
Definitely. So it looks like the 41, it's very close. He was pulling in a little bit, maybe a tenth right there, half a tenth on the 42. He's got that draft. Right now it is 6 cars under a blanket for the in that top pack right now.
I think the 41 has a better car. What you saw him do right there was enter the corner a little bit earlier, and he got the run all the way through 3 and 4, and that's going to help him get the bottom in 1 and 2.
You know who I'm really impressed that's still part of this top pack if he's not a lap down, which I don't believe he is that 88 of Always Joker. We saw earlier in the in stage 1 here that he got kind of collected in the 18, losing it off the top of turn 4, putting him down into the infield grass, had a massive save down on pit road, but right now he's running 5th. So if Joker is indeed on the lead lap, this is really impressive from him.
Speaking of impressive, look who just took over 2nd. Nobes, playoff driver. The guy who's in front of him, Drunkfest, teammate, not a playoff driver. We're coming to about 6 laps to go in the stage here. You've got 5 under a blanket now. Drunkfest has pulled out to a little bit of a gap, about half a second or so. Does Drunkfest allow Nobes to A, lead a lap, and does he allow him B, to win the stage? You got a couple hungry hounds here behind him in the 2, the 42, 88, and the 22. 2 of those guys also fighting for a playoff spot here. So what are your thoughts here on that, Jim?
I think that 14 might actually be faster than Drunkfest right now, and I think Drunkfest is not willing to block him. I think he'll let him to the inside, as it looks like right here there's a big gap where that 41 can let the 14 by, and that looks exactly like what he's going to do here. He's going to let Nobes take the lead here.
Yeah, and that 14 pitted a lap after everybody else. So another thing that we mentioned in the Xfinity Series broadcast was that even 1 lap difference in tires makes a world of difference here. So I'm looking to see if that 14 can pull out here, or if the draft is going to keep those guys behind him close to him.
Yeah, if he's going to pull away, it's going to have to happen in the next 2 laps. I mean, we're coming down to the end of this stage. Nobes has 5 laps of fuel remaining. I don't know how many we have to go here, but it can't be too
close
far.
On that too.
Yeah, I think it will be close on fuel, but it's not many laps to go here in the stage. It is 4 laps to go in stage 1 here. It'll be 3 laps to go next time by. I think Nobes will be good on fuel, but remember, he ran that extra lap. Everybody else wasn't able to. So we'll have to see about all these guys behind Nobes if they're able to make it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and that was one that I was going to bring up as you said it, because these guys from second on back, I'm not sure about JoJo. I don't know if he came down with the rest of the pack, as he was out front when Brody and Drunk Fest passed him. These guys are going to be close, if not sputting, coming out of turn 2, as Brody looks like he's going to push the 88.
I think those guys, the 88, 42, might be backing off just a tad. I don't think they can make it. They might be running out turn 3, turn 4 somewhere. That 88 definitely thinks he's going to be running out. He's going to be saving a little bit here on the closing laps here of stage 1.
Absolutely, and like we saw in the Xfinity Series race with Akerd and with Kenny, that 41 is playing a little bit of a blocker right now, being the offensive line. To get to the 14, you got to go through the 41. And that's exactly what the 42 is going to have to do here. So has the 42 saved enough to get around the 41 and get himself to the 14? I don't think he has, but we're coming to 1 to go here in the stage.
The 88,
we're on it now.
The 88 definitely thinks he doesn't have enough. He's going to drop behind JoJo back here. He is really in conserve mode, trying to save every drop of fuel he can.
I think the 22 and the 41 are out.
Yeah, the 22 still kind of holding on. The 41 definitely not. 22's out right here. He's dropped down to the white line, but Nobe's going to win stage 1.
Nobe's coming through. That paint scheme he's got is a throwback to Tony Stewart in the 2011 playoffs, and a lot of us NASCAR fans know what happened in those playoffs. Tony said that he was not supposed to be a part of that field of 10 and ended up winning half of the races and the championship that year. So Nobes won Texas. That was his first big punch that he threw. Comes out here and wins himself stage 1 in this race.
Wouldn't that be a proud moment, man? I mean, I don't know much about it, but Nobes doesn't sound like he's been the powerhouse in the series like he wanted to be. But he's really put together some fantastic finishes, especially here at Las Vegas, winning stage 1. That's a big thing, and his teammate wasn't able to do that. Drunkfest back here ran out of fuel. But I mean, Nobes, it would be really big if he could punch his ticket tonight. This is going to help him with track position, especially.
Oh, absolutely. I've out of all of the guys in the Cup Series, I've run with Nobes the most. Nobes is one of those guys who is very, very intelligent when it comes to fuel strategy, how he's able to enact his specific strategy and separate himself, because sometimes he knows that he's not going to win just off of speed alone. He's got to have some sort of strategy to go along with that, and he's not one to shy away from a strategy call.
Right now, it looked like he lost the position on pit road. The SHR team not doing very well down there on pit lane. Obviously, 42 Brody took the lead from him, and he does clear coming out of turn 2.
Oh, looks like the 3 got the fence off of 2, but the 14 looking to the inside here. 2's all the way up rim ride, and I don't know if he caught the fence.
He got close. Don't look like he did, because he's still there beside the 88. Might have dropped behind him there. Get back in the line.
One thing we didn't touch on in the Xfinity Series broadcast, and I think it's more prevalent in the Cup Series, at least that's my experience with Las Vegas. This is a multi-groove track, one of the true authentic multi-groove tracks that this game has. A good handling car can hold itself on the bottom, wrap that bottom, but you're going to see a lot of these guys looking to get runs coming off of turn 3 and 4 on the high side. As you see Brody trying to utilize that. Of course, it's the 42 up against the wall. Through 1 and 2, he looks like he's going to draw even with Nobes down the backstretch.
Yeah, you can definitely see, like you just said, the multi-grooved aspect of Las Vegas. I'm not a big fan of this racetrack because it's so hard to pass, but you can't take away from it that it's multi-grooved. You got Brody right now, you've got Fire Slayer, you've got Joker, all using that outside. Then you got Nobes, you got Mike, you got JoJo, you got a bunch of guys running this bottom line. And I mean, there's just so many lines to run here. It's not even 2 grooved. It's like 3, 4, 5 grooved here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, wherever you have your car set up for, you can run. As you can see, Brody has now cleared the 42. The 88 to the outside almost made contact with the 14, and the 3 is going to try to follow the 88 through. This is a long stage, though. I think
that 3's in the wall.
Yep.
And it's going to lose him a lot of track position. And one thing we didn't talk about, Delator, is that track position does mean something here. It is, since it's so multi-grouped, it's so difficult to pass at Las Vegas. So if you're Fire Slayer right here, you're behind a 3-wide situation, sell back down to 2-wide. How do you get that track position back?
By getting yourself on and off a pit road better than everybody else. You got to stick with the pack here and hope to God that not only do you not have enough damage that's going to cost you a couple seconds on pit road in your stop, because being that this is a momentum track, if you have any sort of aero damage, you're going to start pushing like a dump truck. So that comes into play here. But to get yourself up front, if you're in the back, you got to have track position or to get yourself in this track position, you got to have yourself a good pit stop. And coming off a pit road first, maybe short pitting these guys would be another way to get that done.
Definitely. I think that track position really means a lot here because, again, we said it's so multi-grooved. But there are instances where you have very fast cars. I've seen in other leagues between LT Resistance, and I've seen, Max Boost, one of the best at the game, have been able to carve their way up through the field at Las Vegas. But it is a daunting task. It is very, very difficult. You have to put in a lot of effort every single lap to hit your line, to choose the right line that doesn't get backed up. Las Vegas, in my opinion, is one of the most difficult racetracks on the game, just for that one reason.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the more complete tracks that they mapped out in this game as Joker takes the lead from Brody. I think he did that on the inside, too. Got the run on the outside and then swept it down low and took it from him on the inside. As Brody's now in the wall, going to go from first to, it looks, sixth here in one lap.
Yeah, Brody right there. We say it's so multi-grooved, but your car also has to be trimmed out for that groove that you're trying to run. And it looks like that outside just does not favor Brody. He needs to get back to that inside. Otherwise, that thing's just going to be too tight. It's going to hit the bumps in 1 and 2, which are so prevalent here at Vegas. He'll hit those bumps and it'll just launch him up the racetrack. Either he'll lose positions or, he'll hit the wall. So just needs to get back to that inside like he was doing so in Stage 1 and early in Stage 2.
Absolutely. So one of the questions here that I'm starting to think is going to come into play is Stage 2 is just as long as Stage 1. So when did these guys decide to pit? Are we going to see anybody really try to short pit to gain that track position? You know that's going to really cost you towards the end of that run coming down to complete the stage. Is anybody willing to make that dive to pit road first out of our 6 playoff drivers and even the non-playoff guys? The 22 has shown that he's got strength the entire night. He's the only one outside of the playoffs right now in the top 5. So does he try to play with these guys? He's got really nothing to lose.
You could, but I've noticed something big about Vegas, especially from other leagues, that when you come down pit road early, you're a sitting duck. The tires mean so much. You explained that in the Xfinity race very well, that the tires mean so much. If you come down a little bit early, it will cost you maybe 1/10, 2/10 a lap. So you really want to, it's kind of like a super speedway race in that regard, that you want to come down with the pack and make sure that you kind of mimic what everybody does. You don't want to play anything too extremely being an outlier there, but maybe if you do, come a little bit later. Get the fresher tires. that does pay off for guys later down in stage 2.
Yeah, and we saw it once we were able to pick the broadcast back up from our technical issues. Is the entire pack? It almost looked like it was a caution lap. Came down to pit road and got 4 tires. The only one who didn't was the beneficiary of that was the 14 of Nobes, who stayed out an extra lap. He actually ran out of fuel coming through the on the backstretch into turn 3 and 4, which helped his entry.
Really?
He did. So it helped his entry into pit road. I think that basically won him the stage. It's funny to say that him running out of fuel won him a stage, but that's what happened.
If you can run that extra lap more than anybody else and be the outlier in that regard, it really does pay dividends. And I guess you could really see that in the 14. I mean, it got him not only the stage win, but I think more importantly, this track position. So hard to pass here. Right now, running 5th. I mean, it's got to mean a lot. If he can do that again and win stage 2, I mean, having a race win would be nice. It'd be nice to lock yourself into that final round. But just having those stage points, it's just massive, man.
Absolutely. And being that he was underneath the cut line, a stage win, you maximize your opportunity right there. And I don't think that we're done seeing him at the front of this pack. Obviously, right now, running in 5th, I think he's there by design. I think he's there to let these guys in front of him, who are also playoff drivers, run each other hard. He's going to sit there and get their draft. He's going to utilize what he can and maybe go partial throttle here, stay out an extra lap, and deploy the same strategy he did in stage 1. Stage 3 is a completely different race than these first 2. So I'm not 100% sure what that strategy is going to be like for that final stage just as of yet. But if the 14 can implement the same strategy that he did in stage 1, I think that we're going to have a guy who's going to really, depending on how the final one shakes out, be in the catbird seat going into Auto Club after this race is completed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The 42 really walked up the racetrack there. It's going to cost him two positions right there between Mike and Joker. 42, the handling might be falling off of that machine a little bit.
Hey, this is about the run where that stuff does happen.
Yeah, he's falling all the way back here to 5th or 6th. I think he's pitting this time. He noticed that car was not handling to his liking. He's going to take advantage of that and come to pit road right now.
Let's see him duck in here. Yep, the 42 is going to be the first, and it looks like he's going to bring a couple other drivers with him. So right here, you basically split the stage in half. 19 laps out of 37, so you still got 19 left to go. So this could be a good call to get a couple seconds ahead of the rest of this pack. And looks like they're all pitting right now too.
Yeah.
I think the 14 is the only one that didn't signal. So he's got that extra lap.
It's really smart from these guys to close off that, because they know if they run an extra lap or so, they'll have great tires, obviously, but at the same time, it'll give up a lot of time to the guy in front where he can, establish a lead. That guy in front being, I'm Captain Jack or or Brody or any of these guys back here that just came down. It would give them a little more of an advantage. But the 14, again, like we said in stage 1, stayed out. He's running out again, but he's coming to pit road 1 lap after all these guys.
His needle is pegged right now. He's out of fuel. Oh, don't speed. He gets it down to pit road speed. He runs out both times in stage 1 and stage 2. He ran out of fuel right in the most opportune time for him to do so. He won't have the lead coming off of pit road, but he will be the quickest car. But with everybody that came down before him, how much time does he lose, and how many spots can he gain here? Because it looks like a lot of these guys had a clean entry and clean exit.
Look at how far ahead that Heredia got. Ahead of Riley, ahead of Brody, all of these guys. Heredia with a lightning fast pit stop out of the number 10 Smithfield machine.
One of his strengths too, and he has a lot of them. One of his better strengths is his ability to enter pit road more so than anybody else. equated to about Kyle Busch entering pit road. He is insane. How he gains all those spots and doesn't get a penalty is beyond me. But looks like Nobes is going to come off of pit road here in 9th once he finally cycles through. So he's got a long way to go to catch Heredia. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that, but those lap fresher tires can be the difference here. Could potentially gain him about 3-4 tenths a lap. So it'll be close come to the end of the stage, depending on how the 14 can get through traffic.
Yeah, this time by will be 15 laps to go in stage 2, but we saw how fast that 14 was able to close on guys at the tail end of stage 1 after using that same exact strategy. He was fast. I don't know if he'll be able to catch this 10 of Heredia. Heredia really came down pit road perfectly and seems to be maintaining that lead over Riley and Joker behind him. But Nobes will probably be fast enough, in my estimation, to get up there to probably, like, I'd say 5th or 4th. Still a good points gamble from the 14 if he feels like his car isn't there.
Absolutely. It looks like the 88 just smacked the wall. I'm not sure if that was net coding or not, but he hasn't dropped off too hard after smacking it on the screen. Yeah, Heredia is about, a second out from the 48. The 2 is now being reeled in by the 14. I don't think there's enough time for the 14 to get up to the 10. I don't even think there's enough time for him to get up to the 48, to be honest with you.
It'll be close.
It will be, but that 10 is checked out.
The thing that's working against Nobes right now that didn't really work against him in stage 1. Stage 1, it was only 6 cars that were under a blanket. Right now, again, it's 6 cars, but it seems like they're more packed up. They have the draft working for them. Unfortunately, Nobes, faster with the tires coming down that lap later, but those 6 cars in front of them are faster because they are drafting off of one another. And I think right now, I don't think they're going to be battling each other as much because they know that Nobes will pass them if they start battling.
Yeah, they'll start battling each other because you've got a lot of guys in that pack that are going for playoff points. You've got the 48, the 88, the 42, and the 9 right there. If the 9 can catch the 22 and the 41 who have been eliminated, he's another guy who started this race below the cut line. So the way that 704 goes about this is, just like real life. Unless you have spotter or crew chief on the box, you're not going to know your situation, so you're just going to have to drive it as hard as you possibly can. So that 9 sees all the guys that are in front of him right now in the playoff standings in front of him on the track. He's going to have to get going soon because that 14 is coming.
14's coming. Looks like one of the cars kind of falling off the pace here. Not sure if it was from an adjustment or if he just made a mistake a couple laps before that stalled that momentum we were talking about in the Xfinity race. But Riley got passed by Joker, and it looks like the 42, the 41, the 22, all these guys trying to make their way around him. Starting to kind of lose the feel of this 48 car.
Yeah, it's a good thing though. If you adjust out of the car in the middle stages, you can always go back on an adjustment for that final stage. Again, I'm normally one to use the first 2 stages as a test session because you can really tune your car out if you go too far in one direction. Who knows if that's the situation, but he looks like he's staying right there with the 88. Maybe beneficiary of the draft.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of the draft. Maybe he found his groove back. Maybe he did just make a mistake a couple laps ago because it looks like he's staying ahead of that 42 pretty nicely here. The 42 knows that the best chance he has right now is to push the 48 and 88 as much as he can. Stay with this 5-car draft, the 88, 48, 42, 41, and the 22. Just trying to kind of stay in line here and push so they can get up to that 10 as much as they can.
Absolutely, and as we were looking at here, it looks like the 14 has gotten around the 9 down the backstretch. So 7 laps to go. Don't want to say that it's too little too late, But he really hasn't caught these guys like he wanted to.
Yeah, this strategy works so well in stage 1. Gave him a stage win. But in stage 2 right now, it looks like those guys in front of him really recognized what Nobes was doing, stayed more packed up this time. And he's not been able to really run them down as much. Before the pit stop, he came in about 5th or 6th. Right now, looks like he'll be around 6th. So I guess really he doesn't lose anything, but he definitely did not gain as much as he did in stage 1.
Absolutely, yeah. Stage 1, it worked out perfect. I think Brody may have made a really good call. He knew his car was going to end up really loose. Came in about a lap early, which I think was what drove everybody to pit road. Now, you didn't really have too much of a gap, possible gap between when Brody pit and when Nobes pit. But the field coming in that one lap between those guys, I think that's really what's causing the track position to go in the favor of the 42 instead of the 14.
With 3 wide
three
here.
Wide.
42 is going to really lose a lot out of that. All these guys are actually. They're going to lose touch with the 48 and 88.
That's going to bring this 14 and the 9 into the picture.
That's exactly what Nobes wanted to see.
Yeah, any battle between those guys that were in front of him is a good battle for Nobes. And the 9 too, to be honest with you, because any position, if you get around the 41, the 42, even the 22, that's a point to batter them in that fight, because the 22 and that 41, they have no horse or no dog in the fight anymore.
You want every point you can get, and I believe Captain Jack, he's actually in the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, Captain Jack is in the playoffs. He started the race 5th out of 6th. So he's below the cut. Brody is above the cut. I don't know what the... who is that? Is that the 21 that just moved over?
21 wrecked. See a lot of damage out of him.
Okay, so I do see that now. He does have a crinkled hood as he almost hits his teammate.
Saw that. Yeah, he
boy.
definitely does not have any turn in that race car right now. It's so much aero damage. He's going through the grass.
Yeah,
he's got to be careful not to wreck anybody. He might have just left. I just saw him disappear.
Okay, yeah.
Overbeak 2201 retired from the race after some really heavy damage. Looked like in turn 1. Don't know what happened, but he must have slammed the wall.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He has not had the year that he has wanted, so, don't know what Season 3 holds for him. But we are coming to 1 to go on the stage here.
Alright, now it looks like Heredia has a very healthy lead, enough to win stage 2 here. Very big for his championship 4 hopes. Definitely wants to increase that lead, been very strong all season.
Absolutely, and one thing that we should take a look at here coming into turn 3 is that 42 and that 41. 42 is going to take it from the 41, but that brought the 14 back within striking distance. A little, like I said, too little too late, as the 10 wins the stage.
Big win, big stage win here for Heredia, but kind of going back to that 14, he's kind of the most interesting story for me right now. You see that the strategy works in stage 1, doesn't really work in stage 2. Do you even attempt it in stage 3, or do you think this car is stout enough to just pit with everybody else and kind of run it out from there?
I don't think the fuel strategy is really going to come into effect here, because fuel after the pit is going to be 20 laps. Stage 3 is going to be about 55. You're going to have to take 2 full stops, because I don't think that you're going to be able to save enough on them lefts to just take 2 that final run. You're going to probably be around 10 to 15% on your rights. So you're going to be screaming for them towards the end of it. But let's see how it plays out here. Be interested to find that out. But I think that this is a 2 full 15-second pit stop stage here to end this race.
Yeah, I don't actually have all that information on me. I wish I did, because I'd be able. I've done 50% races here before. Usually it is a two-stopper, but I don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is Riley just powered around Heredia with Joker.
Yeah, I think that 48 was able to get off a pit road quicker, so goes back to the SHR teams, for whatever reason, have not had the luck of the draw for getting good pit stops in under caution.
Yeah, but he's fighting back to get that track position back. He feels like he's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's going to look under Riley, painting that white line. Riley trying to use that second line. And Joker's going to be pushing Heredia here on the backstretch.
Yeah, that's the only way that he can do it. But, you know, that 48 gets good power through turn 3, and it flows off of 4. He's going to get clear of them by about 2 car lengths.
Yeah, if you're the 48, you've seen what Clean Air did for the 10 of Heredia. You try pulling away here, hoping that the 42 or the 88 or somebody gets beside that 10 car. But we really haven't seen. We've seen Riley a little bit in stage 2 take the lead. But I'm interested to see what he can do here with Clean Air.
The draft at a 1.5-mile track is so severe. If you do have an advantage, you're going to need a big advantage, because that 10 car is just too good, too stout. As you see him making a move on the inside here for the 48 to really have pulled away from him.
Can that 48 hold off on the outside? It's hard to tell. He does. So right now, it keeps him at bay.
Yeah, he just has a really good arc in turn 3, and I think that helps him coming off of 4 to maintain that position. As the 10 looks like he may have touched the wall.
No, he got close. He hit the back bumper of the 48, and that really messed him up. I know in this game, if you hit that back bumper of the car in front of you, your car does not want to turn. And that is exactly what happened to Heredia. That really cost him 2 spots right there.
It'd be interesting to see if that did him any damage, because not sure about Vegas, but you know, at smaller tracks like Bristol, Martinsville, and Richmond, any slight little contact that you make with the rear end of somebody's car can cause you a lot of front end damage, and you could subsequently start to push.
I think he's good on front end damage. I'm looking at the car right now. Front end seems to be intact. Sometimes you can get that yellow front end even when it looks like it's intact, but it didn't look like he hit him that hard. But it did cost him track position, and that track position, it's so annoying when you lose track position here, because it's so hard to pass. And here comes the 14 of Nobes. He's going to draft up to the back of the 42, try to pull with him, and the 48-88 trying to take away the 4th position here.
You know what that 14 found is they would go 3 wide for 4th. As that 14 was able to find that outside and really get momentum coming off of turn 4, which propelled him to the back of the 42. Almost past the 10, which, you know, the 10 was able to hold on through the bottom, but that 10 is good anywhere on the track. It doesn't matter what line he's running.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Nobes and Heredia are teammates, but I'm interested to see how they work together here if they are teammates, because you have the 48 and 88 up there. They're going to be working with one another for the Hendrick group, but the 10 and 14 here on the bottom, they're going to have to work with each other as hard as possible, because that outside does get such a good run out of turn 2 and turn 4.
They are teammates, and that's a really good observation. Is that outside line is definitely the line you want to be in off of 3 and 4, but that inside is the line you want to be in 1 and 2. So there's a lot of seesawing going back and forth, and it looks like the 10's going to get good bite off of 2 and draw even with the 48 for the lead.
Yeah, if you're this 14, the 42, the 22, anybody outside of the top 2 lanes, maybe even Joker right there, all of these guys are kind of frustrated. You're just kind of in a box, really, at Las Vegas. Both lines work so well that everybody's just kind of boxed in, other than the 48 and 88 right here.
Absolutely. So here's something for you too. Our 6 playoff drivers occupy the top 6 positions right now. So if you want to say that the cream rises to the top, here you go. You're seeing it right here.
that, and they just see their chance. Look like the 88 might have accidentally bumped the 48 out of the groove. He's got to come down. Oh my goodness, that was so close between the 88 and the 48. And but Heredia, again, fighting on that bottom, trying to get as much bite as he can to clear for this lead and hopefully pull away like he did at the end of stage 2.
Absolutely. The 48 and the 88's battle there allowed the 10 to get the advantage coming through the front straightaway. So the 10 is going to have a... Wow, the 48 just drove it in deep and is going to be able to stay even with him coming off. I was going to say that the 10 had a good shot of clearing him, but that 48 just proved me wrong right there.
You can do that at Vegas. You really can drive it in, even if it is the second lane up from the bottom. You can drive it in as deep as possible and really gain a lot. As long as you don't hit one of those bumps and soar to the wall, that 48 did it to perfection right there. Able to maintain the lead, keep Heredia at bay. That was super impressive. I mean, you can do it here, but it is so difficult.
Absolutely, but now what you have to watch for if you're the, say, the 10 or the 14, is right there. The 48 is going to dip down low. The 88 may be able to take a bit of a shot at the 48 here coming off of 2, but you don't want to cause your teammate to lose a lot of spots by pile driving him into the corner. So the 88's not able to run the way that he wants to 100%, I think. And staying behind him right now is best for both of them, as the 10 and the 14 have stayed down there and held their line, held strong.
The HMS boys have really found something on that top line, man. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think you could hold using that outside in 1 and 2. I thought it was only a 3 and 4 thing. But this 88 of Joker and 48 of Riley have proven me wrong. They've had a lot of help from Brody right there here in stage 3, but that outside is working wonders as Riley passes for the lead. The 88 trying to poke to the outside using that exact same line.
One thing that I don't think either one of us have mentioned so far is how much tire is the inside line using, as the 14 gives the 10 a shot here going into the corner, and it looks like the 22 is going to try to get around the 14. I know he backs off there, but I think the 14 may have just gotten loose coming off.
Maybe a little bit. But going back to your tire thing, in real life, that's a really good point. In this game, I'm not quite sure. 48 or 14 is spinning on pit road. Oh no.
The 14 just got sent by the... Oh, he didn't even make pit road. The 14 just got sent by the 9.
Oh my goodness, that's heartbreaking for Nobes, having such a great run here at Vegas. He's gonna have to hope for a caution now.
Was it the 9 or was it the 22? I couldn't tell who it was behind him.
I wish I could rewind, but I cannot. But it looks like this has brought some guys to pit road. Maybe a couple of Ford affiliates here. You've got teammate Drunk Fest, and you have the 2 of JoJo coming down pit road. Maybe trying to help that 14? I'm not quite sure here. Maybe we're in our pit window.
I don't know if they thought that the 14 pitted intentionally. But the one thing that is good about what the 14 had happened to him is that the game didn't call him to pit road because he had whipped the thing around. So the 704 does not register a pit stop when the rear end of the car is in front of the front. So it didn't bring up the caution, or not the caution, the pit screen. So he was able to go through pit road at full speed. So no damage was done to that car as he was able to keep it off of the wall. But he's going to need help getting back up to this pack now to have a shot at this.
Yeah, so much track position lost there. I mean, at least, 18 seconds from just spinning right there and trying to collect it, keeping it from hitting the wall. And then on top of that, I mean, his tires are shot. Once you spin out, you lose about 5% that lap, and he's going to have to pit when all these other guys pit or a little bit earlier. It looks like all of our leaders coming to pit road.
Yeah, and going back to Nobes real quick as the leaders are coming to pit road, he's right there coming off of 4 as they're all trying to get on to pit road, so he lost a ton of time.
I don't know for sure if the 10 made it to pit road speed right there. I'll keep it on him. But man, he came in charging, went to the outside of Riley. Very close here on pit road, but it looked like he, in my opinion, looked like he sped.
Yeah, going back to it, that's one of the things that, like I said earlier, he's really good at his pit road entry. So I'm not sure if he got a little too much there, but this will be the determining point. See how long he's on pit road.
If he made it, that was impressive because he pulled up right alongside, right to the fender. He made it, man. Wow. He's going to beat the 14 off of pit road. That is insane. That is clinically insane from Heredia to beat the 48 off of pit road like that. Wow.
Yeah, and he's using that all of the track right there. It looks like the 41 pit a lap before. He was in that group that decided to come early, and you can see what that does for you. Unfortunately, that won't hold too strong towards the end of this run on tires, but getting some points here for himself.
If he can get a caution, if Drunkfest can get himself a caution, this is a great strategy. But if he can't, he's not going to fall just behind the 10, behind the 48, behind the 88. He pitted quite a bit before these guys. He's going to fall to the very far end of this pack once those tires start wearing.
Yeah, and right here it looks like we're seeing a good split as who was able to get on and off of pit road really well, better than the rest of the competition. The 1048 and the 88 right now having clean playoff races, which is what you needed to have in the beginning of this round here to set yourself up for the final two races in the round. The 10 and the 88, let's be honest, they don't need to really push it too much because at this point, stage points don't matter. All the bonus points that you've accrued through the year, you can almost guarantee that they're going to carry you into the final four.
You still want the win, though. You still want the win just to play a mental game with your opponents here. As we just did pass with 30 to go, but you want to play that mental game and say that, hey, I got a win. It wasn't a fluke. I was fast, and I'm going to bring that same intensity to Chicagoland.
Absolutely. Any win is a statement win, but those two can play it safe. The mental game, neither one of them need to play it. Everybody in this league knows that the two guys that you're going to have to beat in the Cup Series each and every race is that 10 and that 88. So that 48 is going to need to make a statement. And he's the one, like I said, he's the one who's probably in the position the most in need of a statement race. So anything that 48 can do to get around both of these guys, that would put him in, I think, the most pivotal spot going into Chicago, because this is a track that is like Chicago. Chicago wears out a little bit more, maybe doesn't run the same, but you know, Chicago is the sister track to this one. A statement win here by the 48 really puts him as, I think, the favorite for that final race.
Yeah, well, I will contest on one thing. The 10 might be thinking a little bit about this whole idea of I've got enough stage points. I'll tell you one guy that isn't, that guy running second. Always Joker is always out for a win. And if he gets the chance to win this thing, just because of the fact that it's a win, he will definitely go for it. I mean, he's not looking at the points. He never does. He has that Joey Logano kind of feel that, I mean, if I can't get the win, what am I? I'm not out here to finish second. I'm here to win every single race. It doesn't matter. I'm not playing the smart game trying to get to Chicagoland. I'm out here trying to get wins.
Yep, the way that you help yourself get into the next round, win. You know, it's not a guarantee. 55 points, though, to the good is almost a sure bet. I don't think the Joker's going to miss Auto Club or Phoenix, which, by the way, he doesn't win here. He's going to show these boys up at Auto Club. That is one place that, you know, as a hometown track, I know my hometown track I always want to do good at, too. So if he doesn't get the win here, I think he's going to be a surefire bet to secure himself into the Final Four the next time we're on track.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. As you can see, the top three right now still Heredia, Joker, Riley, and then that second pack trying to run down Drunk Fest right now, running fourth on those older tires, like we said earlier, starting to kind of fall off here. You can see it. But that second pack, I don't know if they'll have enough to get up to that first pack, since the first pack has the draft, but they will definitely be up there to get to Drunk Fest. I'm Captain Jack, the 18 of A Trout, 42 of Brody. All these guys have shown exceptional speed tonight. I think they'll be able to go run down that 41, especially since he's on older tires.
So I'll go opposite of that, and I'll say that I think that the 41 may have equalized with the 9, the 18, and those behind him, because obviously the front three are getting away, but those in that second group have not caught him with the same speed that front three have. Those front three have completely checked out. That second pack has not been able to make up enough time to that 41. They're going to be able to do it on the next pit stop, because that 41 is going to have to come a lap sooner than the rest of them. But again, he's got, about a second and a half to 2 seconds to the front three, and maybe like 1.5 to the guys behind him. So that's a pretty sizable gap right there. So I think he's in a comfortable position.
Yeah, he is, as that was 22 laps to go. All three of these guys, let me remind you that all three of these guys, I believe, are in the round of 6. So if they can win, that's their ticket punched. Joker wouldn't have to worry about Auto Club, even though it's his home track. Riley wouldn't have to worry about Auto Club. That's kind of a wild card. So if you see the opportunity here at Las Vegas, which isn't as much of a wild card, you obviously want to win here, punch that ticket early, don't have to worry, start setting up for that Chicagoland car. Is that kind of going through through the minds of Joker here, Heredia, Riley, or do you think it's only going through Riley's head, seeing that he's the guy here that might be the beneficiary of a win the most?
Well, yeah, Riley is definitely the one who needs a win the most out of these three. Heredia and Joker don't necessarily need to have the same amount of, or the same, they don't have the same amount of desperation as the 48. I don't want to really completely say the same amount of desperation, but the 48 is in a really, really close dogfight for that cut line, and with the 14's issues today, unfortunately, it looks like he may not be able to have the day that he wanted. A win here to the 48 means that he doesn't even have to practice at Auto Club, doesn't have to practice at Phoenix. He can just start setting himself up, shaking himself down in Chicago. A win here by the 10 and the 88 really put the pressure on everybody else to show up the other two races before Chicago even comes into play. Yeah. So I think, Heredia has always been decent. No matter where we are, he's been decent. And again, I'm just going to stick with my guns here and say that, if Joker doesn't win here, Joker's going to win Auto Club if it isn't for a speeding penalty.
48, or not 48, excuse me, the 10 might have just skimmed the wall, but on top of what you're saying, as we were speaking about the 48, he's in a very, very close spot. I don't know if he still has the draft, but he hit the apron about 4 or 5 laps ago. Kind of dropped him away from the draft. If he cannot keep up with the draft of the 88 and 10, all we're saying is for naught, that 48 will not be in contention for this win. He's got to hope for a mistake or just to stay in that draft. Maybe right here, though, 88 try to look to the inside of the 10, and the 48 might just have a very tiny sliver of the draft right there.
I think that's enough to keep him right there. I think it could bring him in going into turn 1. He's there. The 10 and the 88 it looked like they almost got side by side, so it brought that 48 right back to it. The 88's going to look underneath the 10, which is going to bring that 48 right back to him.
Yep, this is perfect. This is exactly what Riley wanted to see. Take the draft of the 88, swing down to him, try to chase that draft. I think he's back in it. Really crucial moment there for Riley 48.
Joker went to pit. Oh, and so did the 48. Too.
Teammates.
Okay, so that's setting up a very interesting end to this stage this race because the 10 is going to have fresher tires towards the end of it, and we can see that he's always been strong at the end of these runs. So with a lap fresher tires, how far behind the 88 and the 48 does he come out? Because he's going to have to pit here, clearly.
I don't think he is. I think... Oh, he made the decision in the last second. He gets down to pit road perfectly. But I think the thing working in Hendrick Motorsports' favor right here, the 48 and the 88, is that they're going to be grouped up. It's not going to be just one car with bad tires compared to the 10 going up against the 10. It's going to be two cars. They're going to be drafting. The 10, unfortunately, doesn't have a teammate up there that can help them. The 88 and 48 are teammates. They will be able to help each other. Maybe, if not, one of them is able to stay out in front of the 10. I think the other one will be able to help them stay out in front.
Agreed. I think the two things that it comes down to are, did you get on a pit road cleanly and not speed? How good or how lucky are you on your pit crew? Because we've seen pit stops of about 15.3 to about 16.4.
There's the 10. Here's the 88. Oh, it's going to be so close. The 88 has no help from the 48. The 48 had a slow stop.
Yeah, the 10's going to get out in front of him.
He's going to have to carve down. Oh, he's not. He's going to bump him. Oh, that's going to hurt the 88 right now because the 10 has fresher tires. You had to make that move right there.
Even with the draft, I think that 10 is going to start pulling away here in a few laps. If he isn't, I would say that 48 is going to be the opportunistic.
I mean, we saw the other Stuart Haas car. The 14 was able to do it. The 88's not going to let it go, though. He's going to side draft here on the backstretch inside of the 10 car. This is strong from a car with worse tires, honestly.
Here comes the 48, but that 10's going to get a run off of 3 and 4.
Yep, 48's going to carve all the way down. 3 distinct lines ran here on the front stretch. 48 trying to take the shortest way around the racetrack, trying to pull to the bumper of one of these guys.
He's got a big hole that's getting punched in front of him, so he could pick a lane here and just suck up to either one of them.
Yeah, this is perfect for Riley. This is exactly what he wanted to see. He honestly wants to see Joker get in front of Heredia, which isn't going to happen. Heredia able to hold out on the outside with the fresher tires. Now, right now, the 88-48 are a little concerned. You've got to be a good teammate here. Push with your teammate because that 10 has 1 lap fresher tires. We saw how that benefited Nogues out of the same stable as the 10 with the exact same tires having 1 lap fresher tires. So the 88 and 48 are going to have good synergy here.
The one thing that's beneficial to both of them, the 88 and the 48, is that they have the 10's draft. Yes, the 10 has fresher tires, but the draft is not going to allow the 10 to get away like he wants to. So that 88 is going to play into that strength of having the draft to suck back up to the 10. He might be able to get to him and get him off of his line, which will bring the 48 back into it. I don't know that the 88 really has the strength to pass the 10 at this point because the 10 stayed out a lap longer. It really comes down to how trimmed out is the 10 versus how good is the handling of the 88.
I think the handle on the 48 has fallen away. I mean, you know that the draft is better when you're closer together. The 10 and the 88 are very close together. 48 not able to hang on to it. This is worse than when he came into pit road and had that issue, hitting the apron and wasn't able to stay in the draft. Right now, he's having that same problem, but I think it's just the car isn't there. The 88 of Joker and the 10 of Heredia are just better. And they are, I mean, the 48's dangerously close to losing this draft and losing a chance at winning this race.
Yeah, Joker's trying something different with his line. You can see the way he entered turn 1 and 2. He was on that white line, even almost below that white line. Didn't clip the apron, but was as close to it as you could get without hitting it. They're coming to 7 to go here, so this is for everything. Pay window's open now. If Joker can size up that 10, he's within the draft right here. I don't think he's going to make too much of a bonsai move, but he's not going to just go quietly in the night.
That 88 had a fantastic turn 1 right there. Painted the white line perfectly. That's exactly what he needs to do, but he needs to do it for 6 more laps here at Vegas to even have a shot at Heredia.
You know, and even though that 48's fallen off, he's not fallen too far back. If something does happen to the 10 and the 88, that 48 is going to pounce on them.
They're going to have a mistake. One of them's going to have to hit the apron, or one of them is going to have to bump one another for that 48 to have a shot. But that 88, he's really painting that white line in turns 1 and 2. It's looking really good for him. It's going to be, again, just like the Xfinity race, it's going to be down to the last couple of laps.
Yeah, you can tell that side of the speedway favors the 88 more so than it favors the 10. The 10's able to get off of 3 and 4, almost become equal with the 88. But for whatever reason, that 88 has found something down there, wrapping that bottom.
It's just turn 1 and 2. Like we said at Bristol, there's a thing about having the leader being your reference car. You can see where he's entering. You can enter a little bit lower. And that's exactly what Joker's doing. And it's paying dividends. He's right on the bumper of Heredia.
Yeah, that one thing that I just saw there in 3 and 4 from Heredia as we're about to come to, I think, 3 to go, is that he's really taking a wide arc into 3 and 4, which is allowing him to get off of 4 better than the 88, as the 88 draws right to his rear bumper there. I think he's going to wash up the track.
I don't think that's the move. He just gave up about a 10th right there. He wanted to put the bumper to him, it seemed like, but it just got so aero tight behind the 10. He's going to have to really run him down here in the last 3 laps.
Well, that's a good thing about him doing it with 3 or 4 to go, is that he did it knowing that there was enough time to get back to that 10 car. He's going to use that draft to get to him here. Oh, he did it!
Right down on the white line!
The 10 missed his entry.
Look at this!
Oh, they're going to door each other. That 10's going to have the outside, though, and I think that that's going to work to the 10's favor unless the 88 really drives it in here and tries to wash him up the track.
He's going to have to bump him there side by side here with, what, 2 laps to go?
Yep, this is 2 laps to go right here.
Dooring each other on the front stretch.
Making a ton of contact. That 10 is not going to have the bottom. That 88, we saw it. He's wrapping that white line. 88 off of the bottom, though. Is he going to pinch the 10? The 10 makes room.
Doors. Look at the doors on the backstretch coming to the white flag. Who wants it most? Who wants a spot in Chicagoland's Final Four?
That 10 is going to have a move coming out of turn 4, but don't look now. White flag in the air. That 48 is coming.
He loves what he's seeing right now, but right now they're still dooring each other on the back or front stretch.
Joker's going to clear him.
Wow. Look at the crossover, though. Heredia's going to get a huge run here in turns 3 and 4. He's going to have to do something with him.
He's going to give him the outside? No, he just threw the block, and the 10 is going to try to drive it as far down as he could.
It's not going to be enough.
Out of turn 4, on the final lap, Joker wins the race.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Joker showing his hand at the last second. You spoke about that in the Xfinity race, showing your hand when you had it. He showed it in the last 7 laps, and oh my goodness, I thought he was done when he was about 3/10 back. But Joker, he played it to perfection. Lap 3, tried charging the corner, didn't work. He knew what his car had by then, and he made the perfect pass in Heredia.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to see if I can get the top 3 in here.
Wow.
What a finish that we just saw here.
This league doesn't disappoint, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Consistent,
when you
good.
Have those guys going at it, yeah.
It's consistent Cup, Xfinity. It doesn't matter. We've had 4 races in a row that have come down to the last freaking lap, man. That's impressive.
All right, and here we are already joined by our winner, Joker. What say you, man? what did you have to do to get around that 10, and what did you see that he gave up there?
Well, I mean, as you saw on the stream, I was behind him for about 10 laps, and the gap stayed the same. So I knew. Ooh, I got fastest lap, but I knew I had to make some sort of move on him. Probably get into him a little bit, and then we stayed side by side for a really long time. But I mean, I knew because the draft, I didn't get low draft was the setting, but I didn't get any for like that past 15 laps. So I knew I had to make a move, and we doored a little bit like Gateway a few months ago, and just a good race overall.
Yeah, definitely. You could see that I wasn't 100% sure that was low draft, but now knowing that's even more impressive, because I was saying the entire time that you were within his draft. So knowing that it was low draft, do you think that he missed turn 1 and 2? Was that the big thing that got you to his inside?
Yeah, he missed it a little bit, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm not just gonna let you. I'm not going to back out of that one. I have a big point gap. If I wreck or something, then that won't affect me as much. But I'm glad to get the win. I wish one of my teammates could have got it. But on to the championship 4. You know, a lot of people. This is not like a unexpected win. But I want to do the best I can for Chicagoland, and Vegas was like the last technically mile and a half, similar to Chicagoland, so I expect the same racing there.
Got it. Well, congratulations on your win. Now you got 2 weeks where you don't have to really do too much in Hennessy. You can kind of focus on Chicago. And with that, joined by Heredia. Heredia, you had it, man. You had it. So what could you have done differently to have kept Joker behind you?
Almost had it. Lucky boy. I was just, that pressure was just getting to me. 1 and 2, he just took advantage of me. Really trying to arc the corner, so he just dove it in. You know, actually, I tried to really arc it, and he dove it in deep, and he gave me a little bump, and that was a good move. That was my mistake.
Yeah, I thought you might have had it there. What was your thought process with getting a lap late, pitting a lap later? Did you think that you would have been able to pull away from him? What was your thoughts on that?
I try to fake signal. I went down low. Then I try to fake signal so I could fake Joker slowing up more. So when I pit later, I could be closer to them and just use the fresh tires. But one lap is just a tiny bit better. Joker had a good enough car. You keep on me and Riley. He was there too.
Well, with a 47-point cushion to start this round, coming home second, I think you got a little bit more points on the cut line. What's your thought process, not knowing, knowing that you haven't locked yourself into the championship 4? What can you do moving forward?
You just stay consistent through the next 2 races. I just try to maybe be safe enough on points for Phoenix, so I have to worry about it. Then just go on to Chicago and see what we can do from there.
That sounds good. Any one of those 2 tracks you got circled?
Phoenix.
All right. Well, good luck to you at Chicago, at Auto Club. If you ain't gonna get it there, Phoenix, you said it. You got it circled. Joker, you're already on.
Just like the Glim, baby. Call my shots.
So, calling your shot at Phoenix? All right, you heard it here first, guys. We're calling a shot at Phoenix. So, anybody, if Heredia doesn't lock himself in at Auto Club, be on the lookout. Phoenix is his race, according to him.
Is Jim here? Where'd Jim go?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, voice clap.
God dang it. Can I ask a question to... Am I allowed to? Alright. So, Joker, congrats on the win. That locks you into Chicagoland's Final 4. But I'm curious, you've got your home track coming up just on Thursday. Are you going to be just as aggressive as we've always seen you, or are you going to be taking it easy, trying to focus on Chicagoland?
Well, Jim, when is there a race where I'm never aggressive?
Yeah, that's the answer I was expecting.
True.
Same. I won the race there in the spring, so I expect to run up front well. I haven't, out of the 7 playoff races, I haven't finished worse than 4th, and I was at Dago, so I expect to keep that up.
And that answers my question. Well, again, congrats on the win and locking yourself into Chicagoland. We'll be keeping our eye out on you at Auto Club.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Jim. So wrapping it up here, got any final thoughts for what we saw with the Xfinity race and then with the Cup Series race?
I've been privileged enough to see all 4 races that I have in the HPL, and all 4 of them have come down to the last lap. Can you believe that? All 4 of them, Bristol to Las Vegas, Xfinity to Cup. It's been insane. So, I mean, it's kind of poetic, really, seeing all the winners we've had and seeing how it's gone. It's just incredible, man.
Definitely, and I think what we saw tonight is going to be a precursor for what we're going to see at Chicago. Another mile and a half. These cars are going to get almost the same sort of fuel economy at Chicago that they do here at Las Vegas. So Phoenix and Auto Club, they're going to be 2 tracks that a lot of people can really use to punch their ticket into that final race. But guys like Nobes, guys like Jack and Brody, they're really going to have to work a little bit harder to dig deep and to see if that they can beat these top 3 that we saw here tonight in Riley, Heredia, and Joker. So with that, I want to thank everybody for checking in on the stream. Sorry for the inconveniences and the technical difficulties that we had at the beginning of it, but glad that we were able to bring you that great race, that finish there. So for Jim, for Fluffy, who unfortunately had some issues earlier, this is Delator signing off. Hope you guys have a great night. Catch us next on Wednesday for the Truck Series cutoff race at Bristol.